Riot has actually done something pretty genius recently, and then even more so recently, and I'm talking about the fact of, yes, Arcane on Netflix, which even though I'm not going to spoil just yet, because I understand if you're anything like me, for example, we're in finals mode, each episode's like 40 minutes long, I understand. We are going to be talking about that eventually, because I loved it and I thought it was pretty great, actually. However, one of the genius about it specifically, as well as I said something else they've also done recently, is they kind of low-key dropped Ruined King, a League of Legends story. And what Riot's been doing is putting the S in Riot Games for a minute now. We've seen like previews about how the fighting game's gonna look. We've, Legends of Runeterra is already out, things like that. And why this is genius isn't because it was a hit success. It's because if you've been playing League of Legends for long enough, you know it does drain you after a while. The toxicity can kind of be annoying, and some people get angry over balance changes. Now, personally, as someone who's been playing this game consistently for almost 8 years at least, balance changes and stuff, they definitely come and go. Obviously, patch 8.11 was terrible. But with that being said, the thing that would make me quit more than anything else would have been the toxicity. However, the genius that I'm talking about of Riot is they've now started implementing ways for us to enjoy the characters we like in League of Legends without actually having to play League of Legends. In the fighting game, for example, we already saw, if you're into Arcane characters because you like Piltover and Zaun like I do, we saw there's plenty of them. We got Echo, Jinx in there, probably Vi. It's a fighting game. How would you not have Vi in there? You know what I mean? But basically what I'm saying is we're getting other mediums. This is Riot's genius. They're giving us other ways to enjoy the League of Legends universe without having to enjoy League of Legends. And I think that's amazing because let's just be real. Even if you're still in love with League of Legends, there's some metas and some days it might grind on you a bit worse than others. I've even had some decent days with the game still here and there, but there's other days where I'm like, I could have done something else with the limited time I had because I was on break or something, right? Then play a game even of ARAM, then do this. However, the champions and like the characters and like the lore and the story have always been pretty decent or pretty cool in some regards. Like I said, I specifically don't necessarily care about every champion in the game, but I do like Zaun and I do like Piltover by default, even with all the animosity now that's growing between them. For you older players, you remember there was a time where Zaun and Piltover were two different city-states. That's what they used to be called, were city-states, and it was kind of like Gotham and Metropolis almost even. They were still near each other, but they're like across the way. They used to compete, they used to butt heads and everything over like inventing and engineering and creating things and progress and etc. And it was cool. And of course, the rework where I jokingly say Zaun became Piltover's butt crack because the way the rework looked and made it sound like was Piltover kind of had like a crevice in the middle of it that they had bridges built over, of course, and in that crevice was now Zaun. It was the undercity of Piltover. It wasn't really its own thing anymore. So champions might be a little less prideful in Zaun than they used to be because Zaun used to be like its own entity. And then of course Arcane comes along, which I said I'm not going to spoil, but yes. I think that's amazing though, because even now, right, with Arcane dropping, I have friends who are like, I've always kind of wanted to try League of Legends, or I think we should play League of Legends together. I'm like, yikes. But at the same time, if it's because you enjoy these characters, well, for one, you might have heard about this by now, Arcane is getting a season 2. So if you really liked Arcane, there is a season 2, and it makes sense, again, without spoiling. Dang, I really kind of want to make like a spoiler video for Arcane, actually, now that I think about it. But the way it ended, yeah, there definitely needs to be a season 2. But also just because it was really nice to kind of just kick back and watch a story progress without me having to do anything. Because League of Legends even never has a story mode. That's part of why when it comes to what a champion is, I've never really cared or been not cared, but not invested too much. Because it's not like there's a story mode that's going to flesh that out and really tell me about the character more often than not, right? Like the character, who they are, what they've done doesn't really reflect too much outside of the kit maybe, right? Like if they're an inventor, maybe their kit is a bunch of gadgets they made, but at the end of the day, they auto attack or they do spell damage that's 100 to 0 to me and like 0.2 seconds, and in the death recap it says I've died by 3 different abilities when that clearly wasn't true. But anyways, all jokes aside, it's like, cool, all right. So we have Arcane, we have a fighting game, we have the card game, we have Ruined King, a League of Legends story that's been on Steam for like a week or so now. I've been meaning to play that game. I wanted to do a let's play of that game when they first announced it at the beginning of the year. Then in typical Riot fashion, they kind of went dark on it, and then they suddenly just dropped it on us out of nowhere. So I was ill prepared to do that. But that'll be going on the other channel, the Gamerson channel. That's more the variety channel. It does have League stuff on it. I've mentioned that before, but it's like more for fun stuff, or it's like maybe some rap about League that are over there. This is more like discussion stuff and things that I can back up actually because this microphone actually has some wiring. Things like that. That would be going on the other channel. So if you want to check that out when that finally does happen, that will be happening over on that channel. So there we go. However, credit where credit is due. Again, in my opinion, I think that's one of the best decisions Riot can make going forwards, is finding ways to bring these champions to other mediums without having to play League of Legends. Now, if you want to play League of Legends, that's your business. I'm not saying, you can't play League of Legends. I'd be hypocritical. I'm probably not going to stop playing League of Legends anytime soon. Ultimately, I'm definitely going to take breaks from it, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to quit it. Sure. And like I said, there's some times where it can be fun. When they bring back Nexus Blitz and stuff like that, and they make really crazy, wacky, for fun targeted modes, it can be fun, right? A lot of people had fun with Ultimate Spellbook. I would agree. Ultimate Spellbook was pretty fire. But if you're someone that's like, I've heard about the toxicity, or I've heard about this, or I've heard about that, and so I'm not really sure I want to get into it, or even a more simplistic one, MOBAs aren't really your type of game, your style of game, the whole lane focused into team fighting kind of a game. Maybe all the other stuff is something that you could shrug off pretty easily, right? Like, you're like me, you're from the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 days. You heard a lot of stuff back in like 2007, 2008, 2009 from that game alone. So anything League could throw at you is just business as usual, right? Sure, I understand that, but maybe you're like, again, I can take the toxicity, or I could take this and this, but this is just my type of game. The same way people don't like puzzle games, or people don't like card games, or people don't like maybe action adventure games or platformers, right? That might be the case, but you're still like, but this character seems really cool. And when I read about the character's lore and stuff, it seems pretty awesome. Well, fortunately in the future, it looks like Riot's working on several things to maybe be like, hey, we got you covered. Like, I mean, however you feel about Fortnite, right? Like, there's Jinxes in Fortnite, for example. There's a Among Us crossover even out there, a PUBG crossover out there. I jokingly say that in GTA, the pink minigun you can get at level 120 is just Pow Pow. It's Jinx's minigun. There you go, right? Even though that's more of a joke about how many crossovers Arcane wants to have before Season 2 probably even drops. But anyways, I'm going to wrap up the video and say that's the genius, though, is if you're someone who's sitting there like, man, this kind of reignited my love for the characters and the story of League, but I just can't bring myself to still play League of Legends. Well, then guess what? Fortunately, Riot is making some good moves and saying, hey, here's some other ways you can enjoy some of these things without having to actually play the game. But I'm going to wrap up the video. It's a bit too long, to be honest. I kind of just rambled, but I haven't done one of these kind of videos in a while. And because I broke the little handle on this this light source, this ring light, it takes me a while to set this up. So I'm kind of enjoying this while I can. So sorry for dragging the video out. We're going to end the video there and say thank you so much for watching this video. As usual, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, the actual subscribe button. But I don't know which video will be next, because life can have a lot of kinks. So till this time, take care. ggGetJinxed. Thank you for watching, and enjoy pizza responsibly.